How many sales do you lose to the I need to talk with my spouse objection? What about think it over? How many of you say to most salespeople, like, hey, I really need to think this over. Sounds good, really need to think it over. You ever heard of you are the objection you give? You buy it in a store because you believe it yourself, so it's hard for you. Who in here has ever read a book that says 93% of your communication is your nonverbal, your body language, your tonality? Anybody ever read a book like that? It's like every sales trainer, every sales book, they just copy and paste. That comes from the 1940s. That's not a very accurate survey. They have a lot more data now. It's about 30% of the sale is your words, not 7. So words do matter, but about 70% of you making the deal is your body language and your tonality, even if they can't see you. If you're on the phone, your body language affects this thing called your voice, your tonality. Imagine like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, like 76, I don't know how many there are, like 16. If Tom Cruise is on there, you know, we got to go down by the van because there is a bomb there. And if there's a bomb there, it could blow up and we could, like everybody could die. And then my girlfriend would die in that blast. So we need to go down there and we need to get the van because if we don't, then something really bad could happen. And then the police would not be able to come. And then you'd be like, turn off the show. Okay, so actors and actresses at the high level, they are taught to keep you engaged. You know how they're taught how to do that? Their body language, their facial expressions, and their tonality keep you engaged in that movie. So when I read this in a book, I'm like, well, where do I go to find this? Like I went through all these courses. I was in my early 20s, like went through everything, and like nobody really, they always say it, but they never teach, like, how do you do it? So I'm here at this event, and this dude, I wrote this down for you here, so I wanted to make this. He made this offer, and it was like a no-brainer offer. And I was like, I was going to do it. Like I was pumped up. I was going to do it. Like I'm going to do it. It was $126,000. $126,000 23 years ago. What would that be with inflation now? 280, 270, something like that. I was 23. It was my second year in sales. Did I have just, $126,000 laying around? No. So what happened is I went back to the back table. You know, at the events, you go to the back table, you talk to the sales guy. And I started talking to the sales guy. And I didn't like his voice. And because I was a salesperson, I expected to be sold a certain way. And I didn't feel he was that good. And he had orange shoes on. And I like orange shoes. So you know what I said? I said, it's a sign from God, I shouldn't do it. Sign from God, shouldn't do it. God told me, shouldn't do it. The orange shoes, the way he talked to me, shouldn't do it. And it's interesting, when we want to find an out or a reason not to do something, we find it, don't we? Raise your hand if you've noticed that's a pattern you have in your life. So I said I was going to do it. I didn't do it. Now, that night, I went home to my little dump, one-bedroom apartment in Orem, Utah. I just got married. My first daughter was on the way. Basement apartment, 23 years old. And I started to think, I've been telling my friends, my family, my parents that I was going to be successful, that I was going to change. But yet here I was didn't do anything. So as I was flipping through the channels that night, making big decisions in my life on what I was going to watch and what ice cream I was going to have. Hey guys, Jeremy Miner here. Look, a lot of you leave comments wanting me to help you sell more. So the easiest way to get a hold of me, the quickest way, is to text me. So text me right now. It's 480-637-2944. So 480-637-2944. Listen, I started this company to help you learn how to close more deals, but do it the right way. Text me right now. Let's get back to the training video. As I was flipping through the channels, something kind of crazy happened. And this actually spurs something. It's interesting because I was talking to one of my buddies a couple weeks ago. Anybody know who Eli Wild is? One of my really good friends. He's a client of ours. He's in our Circle program. It was Tony Robbins' top salesperson. He has his own business now. But Eli was telling me about like this defining moment. I think we all have these defining moments. Like something that like changes us. And I remember talking to him, and this was like my defining moment. And maybe today will be yours. And I had this defining moment, and as he was flipping through the channels, he stumbled across, anybody remember Larry King, the Larry King Show, CNN? And so Larry King was interviewing Christopher Reeve that night. You guys remember Superman? Yeah? And see, I grew up really poor, because I was talking with Eli about our poor backgrounds. Like, I grew up, but now some of you are like, Man, Jeremy's handling that horse somewhat good. You were talking about, it's like, well, I cheated a little bit because like I grew up on a ranch. I didn't tell anybody that. I know everybody thinks I'm a city slicker. I am, but I grew up on like a 900-acre cattle ranch. And we raised palominos as well. So I rode horses all the time. I was in 4-H till I was like 13, but like when I was 18, I'm like, I'm out, okay? But I grew up really poor. Like nobody in my family has literally ever made more than like 50 grand in a year. Like teachers are rich in our family. And I love teachers, they're underpaid. But like nobody has any money. And so as a kid, I grew up like not having all the stuff that a lot of my friends did. I was pretty athletic, so I was somewhat popular because I was just good at sports. So I got to hang out with all the rich kids and they used to go to all these things, but I never could do anything because I didn't have any money and I had to work on the freaking ranch, okay? I didn't have a lot of confidence in my life. So I want to share with you what happened that night because as Larry King was interviewing Christopher Reeve, he asked him some really serious questions. He asked him, Mr. Reeve, does it bother you that at one point in your life, you were the strongest man on the planet? You were freaking Superman. Men wanted to be you, women wanted to be with you, kids admire you. You were freaking Superman. And I got a picture of this. I wanted to show this to you. It's very interesting. There he is. You guys remember him? Christopher Reeve. You're a freaking Superman. But here you are today, sitting in the studio with 2 tubes sticking out of your neck just to breathe. Mr. Reeve, does it bother you that people have to come in here just to help you do things like go to the bathroom? Mr. Reeve, does it bother you that you are physically paralyzed? Christopher Reeve, with all the grace, all the confidence, all the stature, he looked Larry in the eyes and he said, you know what, Larry? It does not bother me. But what does bother me is this. It bothers me that there are men and women out there in this world right here, right now, that are physically able to do anything they want in their lives, yet they are paralyzed in their mind. Now, if that question wasn't bad enough, because here you have a man who wrote 3 best-selling books before he died, studied stem cell research, so if that question wasn't bad enough, he said, Mr. Reeve, are you afraid to die? He said, you know what, Larry? I'm not afraid to die. Because the day I go out, the day I leave this planet, I'm going to leave this planet like a champion, like a victor climbing the mountain of success and not complain about my circumstances like a victim. So I remember after that, I got off on the couch that night and I walked into my little girl's room to see if she was sleeping. She was 1 at the time. And I remember like walking out of the room in that little apartment and there was like this little mirror there. And I remember like standing like, and I caught my reflection. So I went back and I looked in the mirror and I said, Jeremy, where are you right now? Where are you right now? Are you the one that's paralyzed in your mind? Are you the one that's paralyzed in your finances? Are you the one that's paralyzed on taking action, on doing something that you know is not only going to benefit you and your family, but is going to help other people as well? Are you the one that's paralyzed to move forward? Are you going to I still remember this, are you going to let a few $1,000s prevent you from having the thing that you've always wanted? So I thought to myself, and I started saying this statement over and over again. And I said, what if today was a day that we all stopped making excuses? That we all stopped the procrastination, the winging, the dabbling, the thinking we know everything, that we stopped everything and we finally started to commit and understand that us taking action is what's going to move our family forward in our lives. So I started saying this statement over and over, and I still say it to this day. I said, today's the day right now. Say it with me. Today's the day. Say it with me again. Today's the day. Say it with me again. Today's the day. Today's the day that we move forward and we take action and go where we want to go.